Have you been writing those letters to yourself? Dear Evan Hansen, this is going to be a good day, and here's why.
I started one. Welcome to The Little Things You Hear Together, where we dive deep into Broadway cast albums to figure out why some hit harder than others. I'm Alex Asp, and my guests today are the hilarious Will and Rachel Anderson, the theater lovers. I'm so glad you're back.
Oh, we're so thrilled
so
to
nice.
be
It's so
back.
nice to
Thank
be
you
back.
for having us.
You are very, very busy this time of year with Tony season and all that, so I appreciate taking the time, although by the time this comes out, the Tonys will be over already, so
And we'll know where the chips fall.
we'll know.
They may. That's not how that phrase works.
We are talking about the 2016 original Broadway cast album for Dear Evan Hansen today. What is your relationship with the show and with this album?
Oh gosh. I saw the original cast, Will didn't.
I did not see it, no.
And I saw it before the album was released.
Okay.
I remember walking out of that theater and being like, I cannot wait to hear these songs again. Like I wish that I could go home and listen to them right now.
And my relationship to it is I remember walking by it a bunch at Second Stage when it was still off Broadway, and I mentioned that to a bartender that I worked with who was this like Boston cartoon character. He was great, and he was like, I won't do the voice, but he was like, oh yeah, like my girlfriend, her best friend is Ben Platt, and like had just like a bunch of stories about Ben Platt offhand. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I was just saying I saw a sign.
And you got all the tea.
So I knew a lot about it before knowing any notes.
Okay. That's a fun way to come in.
We went in knowing Pasek and Paul's Edges of Song Cycle and Dogfight.
Mm-hmm.
So we were familiar with their work more or less up to that point. I don't know that I'd listened to Christmas Story or maybe some of their other stuff, but at least those two before seeing and experiencing Dear Evan Hansen, we were familiar with their sound and their sort of vibe.
I was really into Dogfight by then, and I was like, this is like a new kind of theater voice, and I'm excited to see what they do next. So then the fact that it was something so big was very fun.
Yeah, nailed it.
Yeah, it's really crazy. I think this is my introduction to Pasek and Paul. But then I grew to love Dogfight soon after because I was like, what else have they done?
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
I really, like 4 years ago or something, dove into A Christmas Story, and I was like, okay, all right. And then when I saw The Greatest Showman, I was like, oh, they can do so much better. Why are they doing such 4-chord songs for this movie? That's disappointing. I was like, I know you can do better.
Sure. Yeah, we've seen it.
Yes. And what's really crazy, though, Dear Evan Hansen is only their third stage show.
Isn't that wild?
I mean, they've done all sorts of different things. They were definitely not, isolated to the stage. But it was their second Broadway show and their first Broadway cast album because A Christmas Story had a studio recording after the fact. So
that makes sense.
It's just weird that this iconic duo really has made a name for themselves just because of the impact and the power of what they've done, not from a large volume of work.
Yeah. I mean, their particular like sound and voice was there was such a niche to fill.
Mm-hmm.
Like the newer pop sound, the newer like pop musical theater sound, nobody had really broken out. I mean, we're putting ourselves in like the 2010s, right? So it's like it feels like it just happened, but it really in the scope of musical theater, it's like a bajillion years ago. But like there was a hole to fill, and they were the ones that were able to fill it.
And it's really, it's a timing thing because they were in college when YouTube was becoming a thing, and that's what let Edges take off. And
they wrote Edges while they were in school.
I know, that's so
like
insane.
Really early too.
Yeah. So
that's
with
crazy.
Being the pioneers of a new kind of sound, one wonders if they didn't have that direct access to people, would it have gotten produced as much? Because people like to stick with what they know and what works. So they really had that opportunity to break through in their own way. And then you couldn't deny the power that they had with their following. So they kind of got a lot of permission to take bigger swings with Dogfight and Dear Evan Hansen.
Yeah.
So it's a really interesting career.
And the Dear Evan Hansen being the big breakout hit of theirs is directly in parallel to them being on social media and getting feedback and like using the power of the internet and what all that mean. Like it's such an interesting parallel to their success at the same time. Obviously not in like the duplicitous way that Evan Hansen finds like his, arc, but it's such an interesting thing to think about that like the parallel there.
Yeah. So Dear Evan Hansen to me is an example of the album, I think, it being better than the show.
Sure.
The show has a lot of issues that matter to people in varying degrees
Mhm.
and perspective on how intentionally manipulative Evan is versus he's just trying to survive. Kind of how you fall in that spectrum, I feel, defines a lot of how you view the show as a whole. But the album lets you kind of paint your own picture, so there's less of that divisiveness in the album itself, which is interesting that it gives less context and therefore makes it more universal.
Yes, it's a really interesting thing, and I think it's part of why Dear Evan Hansen was such a darling for such a long time, and then people have sort of fallen out of love with it as, I guess, like, the morality, I don't know, over the past couple of years, how do I, like, properly articulate this? That, um
As the cultural conversation about everything else changes, while also the sound that Dear Evan Hansen helped to popularize becomes more ubiquitous, it makes loving the show without a clause into a more complicated statement.
Yeah.
It's
Thank
like
you.
it's
Yep.
like it's like if it's 2010 and you're like, my favorite show is Rent, and everyone's like, really? But it's like it was impactful. It's just we were in a moment that was so oversaturated with things influenced by it that it felt like a less interesting choice.
Yeah.
And Dear
And
Evan Hansen's audience is very much about like what's interesting to respond with.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Dot heard someone in the hall. He growled a little. You're
oh,
okay.
Dot.
I think also the majority of people have experienced Dear Evan Hansen through the album and not on stage, just by means of accessibility. And if you take those songs out of the context of the show, you will be found does sound like this unironic anthem of
Optimism.
optimism, community, being seen, being known, being felt. But in the context of the show, it is one of the most manipulative things that could possibly happen in the storyline of like this mass this small lie being blown up to like epic proportions that Evan couldn't have possibly ever imagined. So
Mhm.
there is such a duality of being able to take the songs out of the context of the show and experiencing them that way versus the context, which is much darker. And I think perhaps a lot of people who experience them outside of the context of the show first and it made them feel good and seen, then learn the context of the show and then they're like, oh, I feel manipulated twice. Like as a person and also like within the context of the show. I think that's part of the complicated nature of existing with the piece outside of the cast album as well. You have to
Mhm.
sit with the fact that like this song makes me feel good and the intention of it is not necessarily supposed to do that. It's very, very nuanced. I like to think that maybe 10 years from now when we're all having a conversation about Dear Evan Hansen again, it's more layered and nuanced than perhaps the conversation that sort of happens right now where people sort of write it off as like, oh, he's a bad person and they're trying to convince us that he's not. I think there's a lot more going on there than perhaps people give it space for. And I think it's because they feel hurt because of the nature of hearing the album first and then experiencing the show. I could be totally off base with that. We might play the clip back and be
Time
like,
will tell.
but that's kind of where I sit with it. I think it's much more nuanced than people give it credit for.
Yeah. I previously had been one of the people that was like, this is a good album with a bad show. And especially yesterday, I rewatched the bootleg that's online just to kind of reacquaint myself with the show as a whole. I was like,
What was the bootleg name?
I think it was the Connor Project slime tutorial.
Where-
And I was like, this is not bad. Like, yes, Evan is bad. That's the whole point of the show. But plenty of musicals have unlikable or morally bad main characters, and we don't have the same conversation about whether that ruins the show as a whole.
Mhm.
So I'm like, this is interesting. I have a very different opinion now than I did last time I watched this, however many years ago.
Yeah.
So things change over time too with the world and personal experience and perspective. So it's definitely a complicated show to have that much variability within the same person even.
Yeah. We were having a conversation earlier today where Will was pointing out the similarities between Dear Evan Hansen and The Music Man. Um,
Essentially, because The Music Man was popular in a way that extremely few other Broadway shows have been, and it's just culturally ubiquitous. And everyone who works in theater that knows a little history knows The Music Man. And when you're, I think it's the most effective American story about a con man, or at least someone lying to the characters in the show, because he also lies to the audience and brings them into it. And there's a really similar path to Dear Evan Hansen, where the audience is also getting pulled into how Evan is telling this story. Like after Connor dies in the story, we don't hear his perspective again, but we do always see his version that Evan has created. So our perception of Connor is changing based on how Evan is painting it. And we think of that character as him rather than as Evan's invention of him. So the audience is getting pulled in.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. And something we also talked about, and then we can start. So I feel like
And then eventually
we'll talk about the album, I promise.
Sweet.
But we've been really looking forward to recording this.
Yeah,
So we've been having
we're
a lot of
talking
like
about-
really nuanced conversations, but and stop us if we're going too long. But the point we talked about how the big difference in the storytelling of Music Man versus Dear Evan Hansen, where it's like a similar like con man self-preservation story, is that Harold Hill just has sort of one line where here I'll let you explain it.
Well, Harold doesn't. But also, we don't know that Harold Hill is his real name. Marcellus calls him Gregory, and then he's like, "Nope, it's Harold now." So like, we know that we can't trust anything that Harold Hill says, but we still fall for it. At the end of the show, when he and Marion and Winthrop are having that confrontation, and Harold gives that beautiful speech to Winthrop about like how he believed in him from the start, and says like, "And we need you for the band." And Winthrop says, "What band?" And Harold Hill says, "I always think there's a band, kid." And it's like we have fallen for the lie, and Harold Hill also believes in it, and that's what makes him so effective. But it is a moment of vulnerability where he is like, you see how small he is for a second, and compare that one moment that is very impactful to Dear Evan Hansen, where you explained this better earlier, where there's a lot of qualifying from the authors and from the staging and from the performance that seems to be excusing Evan rather than explaining Evan.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what you were going for?
Yeah. And we'll
that's where
sort
the
of,
perspective
I think
really
we'll hit
changes.
As
some
we
of
get
them
to
as
the
we go through the
songs,
songs.
it'll
But
be clearer.
yeah, I think that's why the Music Man does this sort of like quote, I'm putting air quotes for those of you who are listening and won't see me, like con man between the two characters. I think that's why Harold Hill's a little bit more effective than Evan Hansen. There's less of like a I don't know, like the quality.
And that's a moment that doesn't happen on the album, but on Dear Evan Hansen, a lot of that discovery does happen through the album.
Yeah,
True.
that's true.
Music.
Which is, again, why you can have a much more positive view of Evan Hansen from the album, because we see him come to terms with it. And however you feel about the journey that's been happening before then, there is the moment that he gets found out and has to deal with it.
Yeah,
As
He
we'll
will be
get
found.
to. Yeah.
he will
be found out.
tough.
Yeah, the biggest thing that I think is a problem with Evan Hansen is that unlike Heather's, where the glorification of suicide gets a consequence with Martha, here it's, I don't think, ever having a conversation about that part of it. So that the album and the show could reinforce to some people the, oh, nobody loves me now, but they'll love me if I were to die. And I think that's a dangerous thing to have out there without actually addressing it. So I wish that was better handled throughout all of this. But I guess can't do everything.
Yeah, it's like in small moments, sure, but yes, it's for a show that takes so much time explaining so many other things. It does feel like a missed opportunity to. Well, I think we'll touch on it as we talk.
It'll come up through the songs too.
Yeah.
So let's dive into the songs.
Yay!
Another stellar conversation for the scrapbook. Another stumble as I'm reaching for the right thing to say. I'm kind of coming up empty, can't find my way to you. Does anybody have a map? Anybody maybe happen to know how the hell to do this?
We open with Anybody Have a Map? And I love this song, but it's a very abrupt intro for the album.
It's a weird opener.
Yeah, we just jump into dialogue before the song starts. And as I was thinking about, I open every episode with the beginning audio of the album. It's like, this is going to be a weird opening audio for this one.
It does start with one of my favorite musical theater tropes, which is saying the name of the show right away.
Yep. Rachel Bay Jones is amazing.
Amazing.
And I think the interaction between Heidi and Evan really tells us so much about both of them individually and their relationship together in a very short amount of time, which is very helpful for both in seeing the show and just listening to the album, for understanding a little bit of context of who these people are before we get anything else, which you don't always get. As the song's going on, this is just kind of a I wish I knew how to get through to him kind of a song. First with Heidi talking about her son Evan, and then with Cynthia talking about her son Connor. And the energy of this song, when this is Pasek and Paul surprising, the energy is so, kinetic, moving you forward. The syncopation in that chorus is just amazing. And it's, I would imagine, very easy for a lot of other performers to not quite get the syncopation to sound natural. But Jennifer Laura Thompson and Rachel Bay Jones both just nail it and sound great together.
Or then they nail it together with those rhythms.
Yeah, which is just incredible.
Yeah.
Does anybody maybe happen to know how the hell to do this? I don't know if you can tell, but this is me just pretending to know. So where's the map? I need a clue, 'cause the scary truth is I'm flying blind, and I'm making this up as I go.
And they sound so good together.
Yeah. And it shows that they're both struggling, but just in totally different, but the same way.
Yeah. And similar to other albums I've talked about this season, we're getting little, snippets of dialogue, but it's not a whole chunk. We'll pull out this line and then this line and then this line. So it's the most efficient use of dialogue to help tell the story, but not be overly burdensome on the album.
Yeah. Really well done.
Yeah. And this is just a fun song, but really it's not a whole lot to to actually go through in specifics, because it's just a fun way to introduce us to the world.
Yeah. It's a little misleading in the sense that it almost makes you feel like the show's about to be about the perspective from both mothers. And that really never comes up the same way again. It's another critique I have of the show.
That's true.
And it's like you establish this really cool perspective and you never revisit it in the same way.
Yeah. From the school of thought of your opening number has to tell you what the show is, it definitely fails at that. But the next number is Waving Through a Window, and this is telling us what the show's going to be.
The banger of all
so
bangers.
We get there, yes. And this is just nonstop, even at the beginning when it's slower and the melody is not doing all these gymnastics. There's still that constant eighth note pulse to keep it moving forward, even with quiet orchestration. This
and that rhythm of it's like this momentum of trying to move forward.
I've learned to slam on the brake before I even turn the key, before I make the mistake, before I lead with the worst of me.
Maybe we're feeling that way because maybe I'm feeling that way because of what Evan explicitly says about it, but it's that attempt to try to make a move and not quite having the confidence or like the
There's like a double Dutch quality of like
Oh,
like
yeah.
when do I jump in?
Yeah.
When do I
it
participate.
matches the emotional stakes really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, this is the anthem for social anxiety of avoiding negative interactions by just avoiding all interactions and being too afraid to even start because you have no idea how to jump in. And the double Dutch analogy is really good because that's intimidating to even look at it and try to, how do I enter this? I'm just going to get hurt. No, I'm not going to try. So that is a very relatable thing for a lot of people of, I don't know how to talk to people, or at least I think I don't know how to talk to people. Often that's not true. People think it's not true or think it's true about themselves. But it's
sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh no, go ahead.
Just the generational experience of experiencing the world through your phone
Oh yeah.
instead of in real life. So it's I mean, I know that this wasn't the first title that they had for the song. I think they had 2 or 3 other titles that they were playing with before they landed on this one. But I don't know. I like to think that one of them like in the middle of the night like shot up and was like, it's waving through a window. Oh my God, it's so obvious. That's the perfect title.
Yeah.
On the outside, always looking in. Will I ever be more than I've always been? 'Cause I'm tapping on the glass, waving through a window.
But it's always so funny to me when a title that perfect comes later.
Yeah.
Like it feels like it would have always been together, but I don't know. I think it's so interesting.
It's like the story about Jerome Robbins saying to Bach and Harnick over and over again during Fiddler on the Roof, "What's this show about?" And they're like, "It's about a dairy farmer." He's like, "No, wrong. What's the show about?" And like, "It's about a father trying to," like, he's, "No, wrong." It's like, "It's about tradition." And it's like, write that.
Yeah.
So it took so long. It took all that prep work to get to the very simple thing at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the story we hear more often of you focus in on the idea, you get the title, and then you build the song into what it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it is kind of funny to think about, oh no, the song was built first, and then they figured out how to focus it after the fact.
Yeah, I wish maybe I'll find it while we're still talking, but the other titles, like, I was like, how could you have ever, I don't know. They were, it was like, they were no good. They were no good.
Like On the Outside or something.
Vacuuming the carpet. No, that's not it. Classic and Paul.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. What a song.
And through this song, I love the orchestrations. So good job, Alex Lacamoire. But like these little quick string runs in between, lines of the verse, it adds such character, and that's what you want because it adds energy as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really, we're getting swept up in this and feeling very much aligned with Evan of, I see what he's going through, and that's what you need for the rest of the show to have any hope of landing.
Yeah. If this number doesn't work, what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We start with stars in our eyes. We start believing that we belong. But every sun doesn't rise. And no one tells you where you went wrong.
And, it is a great I Want song where we know exactly what he is striving for. And then I love in the bridge, it's an interesting choice to keep repeating the "when you're falling in a forest" line so many times. But the way that it's done where the melody is different each time and we're going higher in pitch, higher in intensity, and it really becomes recognizable that he's repeating it because he's perseverating on it. And that if I even make a sound, like he's repeating the same line and then he's just repeating part of that line that really makes the most, impact on him. And then will I ever make a sound? It's giving us a lot of insight into his way of thinking about the world, really.
Mm-hmm.
And that helps us to feel bad for him so that we will excuse some things that come.
Sure.
plus the getting higher and higher, like you are, ascending a tree. Like
Yep.
there's that literal element to like what is the Berlioz piece? Gallows, something to the gallows. In Symphony Fantastique, there's like a section that is getting higher and higher as this man is approaching the gallows.
Mm.
That came out of a very long time ago. That was my grandmother's favorite symphony.
Mm. That's cool.
Yeah, but she would always talk about how smart that was to just keep
Yeah.
Building.
modulating upward to this
Yeah.
idea, making a physical idea into a musical idea.
Raising the stakes.
Yes.
There's also that wonderful like needle drop moment of after Will I Ever Make a Sound, and then it's like bang!
Ah, key
It's
change.
kind of like the having to snap yourself back into reality of like, oh yeah, I'm in public and there's people around and I'm at school and I can't live in my head like this. I have to like put the mask back on. That I don't know. It's such an interesting it just operates on so many different levels. It's such a well-crafted song. That's the whole thought. It's just such a well-crafted song.
Yeah. And from a musical theater nerd listen to a cast album standpoint, I don't know if I'm the only one maybe, but I love those moments where things are slightly out of rhythm,
Mhm.
and when you're singing along over and over, and when you finally nail the exact timing the same way that they do on the album, you're like, oh yeah, I know this. I'm a cool person.
I'm in the pocket.
Yeah. And so it's like you're giving the musical theater nerds something to nerd out about on the album itself, which is another, maybe not the intention of what they were doing, but part of what makes the song even more, the people who know it, like, yeah, I really know it.
Mhm.
When you're falling in a forest and there's nobody around, do you ever really crash or even make a sound? When you're falling in a forest and there's nobody around, do you ever really crash or even make a sound? Did I even make a sound? Did I even make a sound? It's like I never made a sound. Did I ever make a sound? On the outside, always looking in a way like...
Another great thing about this song was it allowed the show to send Ben Platt out to all of the different talk shows and the different so he could perform this song in sale of the show, but also in sale of the album, because this is another fun fact that we in our research before the episode, when this album went on sale, it was, I think,
It was like number 8
Yeah, on Billboard.
top
That's
200
Billboard. at its debut.
at its
Yeah.
debut. It ranked higher than Hamilton.
Yeah.
When they-
At Hamilton's debut.
Yeah,
And it was what was it? I think I saw it was the first album since,
like the 60s.
to chart that high. And I'm like,
Yes.
that is crazy.
Yeah. So it resonated. And I think I can't think of any other song that they had released beforehand. So it really is Waving Through a Window to Thank.
It was the calling card.
And
Yeah.
they knew that they had found magic and use it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Put it everywhere. It's another, we can get into the nitty gritty of how I think theater should be marketed to people in today's day and age. But it's like, get a song from the show and record it before you premiere and get it out there and get it everywhere, because that's what's going to bring people to the theater, not, the
Yeah.
million other things that you're trying to do.
Or even like you said before, you left the theater and you were like, I want to listen to this music again.
Yeah.
If you at least have one song out there that people can go listen to,
Yeah.
that's just going to whet their appetite to get the rest of the album.
Yeah. And I turned to everyone I knew and I was like, you got to get to this theater. This music's amazing.
Yeah.
The story's amazing. Like everything, God, again, there was just nothing else like this at the time, like not even close. And as far as feeling like it was ahead of its time and perfectly hit its time, like the timing of the show was incredible as well. And the way that it portrayed social media wasn't in the same sort of cheesy way that everything else of that era. Now we look back and it's total cheese because social media has changed so much even in the last decade. But in that moment, it felt very authentic in a way that we were joking too that in You Will Be Found, they somehow resisted the urge to be
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you're going viral, but like every show. I mean, they talk about the numbers and that sort of thing, but like the phrase
It feels more
itself,
natural the way
Yes.
that they do it rather than
Yeah.
like, whoa, we're going viral. Like
somebody's
every
boss
piece of
going like,
media.
make it go viral.
Yeah.
Mm.
Anyway, stuff like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, the timing of the show, the way that they did the rollout before the album, it was just like this perfect storm for it to be the success that it was in its time.
And this song really gives Ben Platt so much to show off his chops, both singing wise and acting wise, because there's so much. Like, I think he is one of the best actors out there right now of acting through his singing in a way that's not sacrificing the singing, but you are completely getting more than just the words and the notes from what he's giving.
And when we get to words fail, we'll talk
Yeah,
about
we
that.
Oh yeah.
We got a lot to say
Ideas.
about Ben Platt
Yeah.
and his ability. Unbelievable.
So you're not only by pushing him out there promoting the show, promoting the album, but you're promoting him for his Tony chances, which I think
This is
later we'll
up.
see exactly, he definitely shows us on this album why he won a Tony.
Yeah.
And so you're really accomplishing a lot of things by pushing this song because it is such a banger.
Yeah. And still, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm never mad when I hear somebody sing Waving Through a Window, even though I've heard it a million times, because it's just a good song.
Yeah.
And this is one that no matter where in the country you are, if it comes on at a show tunes bar, everybody's screaming at the top of their lungs to sing along.
That's right.
Except for me, I'm outside of the bar looking in through the window.
Because
They
you're
can't hear me.
your
Flat.
method.
I'm like, I'm locked out.
It's always really sad.
Just look at that tiny window at Maurice Crisis.
Is anybody waving?
After the song, there are two tiny reprises in the show that aren't on the album. They're so short, it's not, not surprising that they didn't include them. One's just like one line. So we don't need those. I think it's smart to leave us with the taste of the end of the song with Ben Platt and not have these mini reprises. So instead, we now go to For Forever. And I do love that the song starts off with end of May or early June. And that's exactly when we're recording this.
I was gonna say, have you seen? Somebody just posted the other day. It was like a compilation of different Evan singing "End of May" or "Early June."
No, I didn't see that.
I'll send it to you.
Yes.
It's hysterical.
It's good. I also, this is jumping ahead a little bit, but I love the version of the four different Evan Hansens singing this together. Oh, that is so beautiful. I love that arrangement. But anyway, throughout the song, I love that Evan is slightly late in starting his line because he's thinking on the fly of what to say next.
An open field that's framed with trees. We pick a spot and shoot the breeze like buddies do. Quoting songs by our favorite bands. Telling jokes no one understands except us two.
And he's never like late, but it always feels on the back end of the beat. And it just feels, again, that tiny little touch helps with the storytelling and the acting of it to really give us that he is improvising as he's making
His
this up.
brain is you can feel the gears turning.
Yeah,
Situational urgency.
right.
And it's like, the moment is passing. Here's your chance.
Yep.
Liam Paul.
Passing and
Beautiful.
Paul.
But then
No.
there are also sections that come much more naturally and on the beat, and you're like, oh, well, these are probably things that he has fantasized about before and dreamed about, and so he's just pulling that already out of his memory banks, and he doesn't have to make it up on the fly.
Yeah.
Which is then
Real-
even sadder, like,
really
oh, he's
sad
thought about
stuff.
this. He's thought often about wanting these things, and that makes sense then, why this all unfolds, because he's giving an opportunity to grasp everything he's ever wanted. And he's 17. He's not an adult, not fully thinking straight. So
That frontal lobe is
It's not
nowhere near
there.
developed.
All we see is sky for forever. We let the world pass by for forever. Feels like we could go on for forever this way.
And then the part where he's describing the climbing of the tree, similar to what you were saying before about, ascending. It's another one of those. And when we get to that final note, the shine on my face, it's like you can picture him just like climb through the tree, and then if it was an animated movie, he would jump from the top of the tree and the sun would hit him and there'd be a flare, and it's just, it paints such a picture, which is what you want to do. That's musical storytelling.
One foot after the other, one branch then to another. I climb higher and higher. I climb till the entire sun shines on my face. And I suddenly feel the branch give way.
So in the show, this is him mixing his experience of falling out of a tree with a story about Connor, so that we are getting him into this world of being Connor's best friend, allegedly. And the next song is Sincerely Me, as he now has to back this up. But we get to hear from Mike Feist, which is lovely.
And get him back on Broadway.
Yes, please.
We're begging.
And we've had a lot of earnestness in this album, in this show so far, so it's very refreshing to get some comedy here.
Yeah.
Liking the bird joke.
Will Rowland is very entertaining as Jared.
And get Will Rowland back on
yes.
Broadway as well. We're talking about it.
Seriously.
It's like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
I know he's directing a lot, but like I love seeing him.
Well,
Yeah.
we can do both.
The three of them are so perfectly cast.
Yeah. And I just love, he is not taking this seriously. And it's not just that he's blowing it off, but he's trying to get Evan to realize, you're being ridiculous. You need to calm down. So it's just so much fun to have that dynamic between the two of them. And they're like friends, but not friends, which is more explicitly on the
family friend, but it's like very
There's
clear.
a difference.
Like it's like his only friend.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh.
I think he really enjoys having the power over Evan in this scenario too, where it's like I'm not in trouble, and I also know how to shepherd you through this. It's such an interesting dynamic, and Evan is so desperate in this moment. He would take help from anyone.
And it's so funny to me how bad Evan is at sounding like a human teenager.
I like my parents.
Who says that?
I love my parents, but each day's another fight. If I stop smoking drugs, then everything might be alright.
Smoking drugs.
Just fix it. If I stop smoking crack.
Crack?
If I stop smoking pot, then everything might be alright.
The reinvention of Connor in this moment too, it's so interesting to experience like both at the same time, where it's like, oh, he's misunderstood and likable, and it's like, oh, this is a fantasy. This isn't. This is a ghost of a person who has only shown extreme cruelty to Evan.
The audience's perception of the character changes because we are getting pulled into Evan's fabrication as well. And like there's this softness that people have for Connor, but it is a softness for the idea of Connor that we were sold, not from what we have seen.
Yeah,
Right.
that Evan wished he was and wants him to be.
Yeah. The interesting thing to me is in the chorus of this, the chord progression feels like a very classic, we're moving in this pattern, and I'm not a music person as far as like studying, so I don't know the words to use, but it's it feels very classic, tried and true chord progression, but in a way that's comforting and reassuring rather than feeling stale. And I'm always fascinated when that kind of thing works versus when it doesn't work. Because sometimes you're like, oh, I've heard this a million times before, come up with something new. But in this moment, for whatever reason, at least to me, it feels like
Very fresh.
I feel reassured that I know where this chord progression is going to end. And so I can relax a little bit more and be in the moment.
Yeah.
It allows you to pay attention to the story more than it is paying attention to the chords underneath as well.
Yeah.
And focus in a different place.
Yeah. It feels very classic musical theater in that sense, where it's like, I can just go along for this ride and I don't have to be worried. I can just be entertained.
Yeah.
Cause all that it takes is a little reinvention. It's easy to change if you give it your attention. All you gotta do is just believe you can be who you wanna be. Sincerely me. My sister's hot.
What the hell?
My bad.
I think it's also like really smart on Pasek and Paul's part, in the sense that audiences love a number where it's just a group of guys playing, like having fun.
Yeah.
Maybe not ahead of its time in that sense, but like when you look at like outside
I don't know, there's like
Get them in a rainstorm.
yeah, I was supposed to say like the success of The Outsiders and certainly the season with like the Lost Boys and like the types of things that audiences like, especially like young female audiences gravitate towards, where it's like it's just fun to see.
male friendship.
Well,
That is
and like them allowing themselves to be silly
Silly.
and goofy and
Yeah.
like that sort of thing. It's a fun thing to. It sort of feels like you're like seeing behind the curtain a little bit.
Mhm.
I don't know,
Yeah, because
from like a female
Sure.
perspective.
right, because in the song, most of it is Connor, so Mike Feist singing the words
Mhm.
that they are writing for him on the computer,
Mhm.
and then we're just getting little bits of them commenting on what they're writing and what
Yeah.
Connor's singing.
Yeah.
But then near the end, we get all three of them singing and just the hey, like it's just
Yeah.
they're all in it, all three of them, and so we really
They got
are
a
in that
handshake.
moment.
They're jumping around. They're having
Yeah.
fun.
Having some
it's
kind of time.
Yeah. It's fun to watch.
Yeah, so
it's
it really
it's
is just fun.
You're like, oh, this is cute, and then you remember that it's.
Well,
And that's another thing of like the context of the album versus seeing it on stage, where it's like, oh, this is a very different thing.
yeah, because it is so much fun near the end, and it ends with that classic musical theater button, which is, I don't know, for the longest time, it's like every time I just automatically snap my fingers on that, and I was like, I need to stop doing that. It's really weird, but
Never stop.
never stop.
Never stop.
Sincerely me. Sincerely me. Sincerely me. Sincerely me.
But then on the album, we do have quite a turn, because the next song is Requiem.
Tough.
So this is a very different vibe.
Rack.
And this is Laura Dreyfus as Zoe starting us out. And I really appreciate that we're trying to explore the perspective of managing all the conflicting emotions that come with the death of somebody who was complicated and with whom you had a complicated relationship. And it's, you could argue how well they accomplished that in the song, but I like that they're at least trying and going all in on, I'm not going to pretend that you are a good person just because you're dead now. You were a horrible human being to me. And that's, and a lot of people, I feel, when somebody dies that they didn't get along with so well, feel like I can't admit this part of myself because you're supposed to be sad when someone dies, and I can't be relieved or anything like that. So this is kind of those feelings are there sometimes, and that's okay to acknowledge that and process that. So getting that
And-
started even is good.
Yeah, and that each of the three of them is experiencing like a very different version of grief. And that sort of comes through with what lines they omit or sing together, or when they
Yes.
come together, all of the weaving, where it's like, the mom is strictly singing in a more positive light than the dad and the sister. I think it's really brilliant writing, and it's done so subtly that, like, unless you're really looking for it, you would think that they all sort of feel the same way, and then you're like, oh no, she's not singing.
Why should I?
Yes,
She's just saying, I'll keep you with me.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. I
so
think
smart.
it's so smart.
One thing that I wish was somehow clearer, whether this is from a writing standpoint or a performing standpoint, the chorus starts with Y, but I feel like I never heard the W sound. So it always took me a while to kind of be like, oh, it's why should I? It sounds like
Exactly.
I
They're
should
just like
I.
wailing on a note.
Yeah, it just sounds like I.
Why should I play the grieving girl and lie, saying that I miss you and that my world has gone dark without your light?
So I don't know if that's possible with the way the song is written to really make it come through and not sound awkward, but that's
It
one
might
thing
be
that
like
I
a
wish,
mixing issue.
yeah, I wish it was a little bit clearer.
Mhm.
This is our first introduction to Michael Park as Connor's dad, Larry, who's really being kind of a dick. Like, his perspective is, I gave you all this and you blew it off, you squandered your potential. I was like, okay, that's a lot less interesting than Zoe's issue with Connor. It's
Yeah.
like, you're just being kind of a sour grapes.
Yeah.
It's all about him. It's not about Connor even at all.
We do hear the dad in dialogue, and does anybody have a map? Like there's just
Slightly, yeah.
it's like a line where it's like Connor's like, I'm not going to school, and he's I can't remember
He's
exactly
probably
what
high.
he says. Yeah, but he's sort of like, if he doesn't want to go, like good riddance. Like he has clearly given up on his son.
Yeah.
And you hear that from the jump. So then, yeah, when he comes back in Requiem and he's like, yeah, whatever. Like, my God.
Yeah.
He needed you. And it's again, it's the parallels between Connor and Evan, where it's like there's an abandonment from the father in both families. Evan's is an abandonment of not only emotional but physical. Connor's is emotional, but the father's still physically like in the home.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like, what does that do to both of them? Makes them both suicidal. We'll get to that later.
Yep.
but it's such an interesting experience of like there's more than one type of abandonment, right?
Yeah.
And how does that affect the psyche of like a teenage boy?
Yeah, and it is hard because we would guess, I guess, we don't know, that he did try probably with Connor for a long time.
Yeah.
And then just got frustrated that it wasn't working. And instead of trying something different, he gave up.
Yeah. We get that in Breaking a Glove.
Yeah.
It's like Act 2.
And it's like he tried in a way that was not what Connor needed. Like, oh, well, I tried to give him a baseball glove. Well, he didn't care about that. Did you try something he did care about?
The tag off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's,
It's like, instead of getting to know your child for who they are, it's like, if you don't fit into the mold of the son that I want you to be, then I can't help you.
Yep.
That's just not the role of, I mean, we as the audience can see like, he needed you in a different way and you blew it and now he's gone. Like that's tragic. It's a tragedy.
Yeah.
Why should I have a heavy heart? Why should I say I'll keep you with me? Why should I go and fall apart for you? Why should I play the grieving girl and lie, saying that I miss you?
Throughout the song, though, to your point of all three of them have very different perspectives on this. I love the fact that we're getting the same or similar lyrics being used for the different characters, but having completely different meanings.
Mm-hmm.
So Zoe will sing No Requiem because Connor was horrible to her. The dad will sing No Requiem because he just doesn't give a shit. And the mom will sing No Requiem because she doesn't need to, because she has him with her in these letters.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I love that clever approach to lyric writing where it can serve multiple levels.
Mm-hmm.
The emotional peak of the song, though, for me, is when Zoe pushes back on people trying to gaslight her. Don't tell me that you weren't horrible. Don't tell me that you were not the monster that I knew. And that moment is just such a gut punch of, I'm sure people in this, whether they're trying to or not, are like, oh, I'm so sorry you lost your brother. You must be so sad.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, nope, I'm not sad right now. Maybe I will be eventually, but right now I'm kind of glad.
And they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
I'm sure it wasn't that bad. It's just like,
yeah.
yes, it was.
Yes, he was.
And then guess who's coming to dinner? Exactly that.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, tough.
So don't tell me that I didn't have it right. Don't tell me that it wasn't black and white. After all you put me through, don't say it wasn't true. That you were not the monster that I knew.
Yeah, so it may not be perfect, but it's a really good delving into this, this situation of a complicated person dying. And then in the show, Evan is being brought in as kind of part of the family with the Murphys.
Mm.
And so the next song is If I Could Tell Her, where Evan is telling Zoe all the things that he has noticed about her, but framing it as things that Connor told him about her. And
Yeah.
this is one of the moments that is harder to justify from Evan's standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, this is a great opportunity for Ben Platt because, again, he gets to stumble a lot through this song, which is really funny.
And he's so good at it.
And it's so perfect. Like,
Did he say anything else?
About you?
Never mind, I don't really care.
No,
Anyways,
he said so many things. I'm trying to remember the best ones. So, he thought you looked really pretty, or it looked pretty cool when you put indigo streaks in your hair.
he did.
And
I love how fast those words come tumbling out.
You looked really pretty.
you
It looked
look
really
really
cool. Like,
Yeah, I love that.
yeah, your brother wasn't telling me that you looked pretty.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
like when he did, and he's like, like you can almost hear the yes starting, and he's like, I'm just gonna skate past it and go to a different direction.
Away.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's for the greater story, it needs to exist, but it is really difficult to sit with when you know the full context of like what is happening. It's like this poor girl
Yeah.
who's grieving, who literally, again, you just said it, like, don't tell me that I didn't have it right, and then he does this whole number at her. Oh, it's like
the
it's so
timing.
difficult to sit with.
Yeah.
if I could tell her everything I see. If I could tell her how she's everything to me. But we're a million worlds apart, and I don't know how I would even start if I could tell her.
I think the earlier version of this was Obviously, which
Mhm.
is available as a bonus track on the the deluxe album. But that is a much more straightforward version of this. And I think
Mhm.
it's good that they went with this version to be funnier, because otherwise it really gets darker really quickly.
Why go stating the obvious? It's so painfully obvious. How could you miss something that's this plain to see when it's glaring and staring right at you? So obviously.
So at least by having Ben Platt able to goof around a little bit, we can maybe be fooled a little bit into going along with it and not paying as close attention to how awful it is what he's saying, because it's Ben Platt. He's charming.
Yeah. And the layers of just the title of If I Could Tell Her.
Mhm.
It's like, yeah, that's already better than Obviously.
Obviously it is. The next track is Disappear, and this is where things really spin out of control.
It's off.
So it's from the album alone, it's not quite as clear, because before, when Mike Feist was singing, it was very clear on the album that this was them writing his perspective. And this is now just Evan having an imaginary conversation with him. But we don't know that as clearly, but you can kind of get the basics of it, I guess, just from the context of what's been going on around the rest of the show so far. But this is where it becomes less. So I feel like a lot of stuff before this has been Evan starting to try to do the right thing, and then things just kind of get twisted away from him and morphed, and he's just going along with it to try to avoid confrontation.
He doesn't have the backbone.
Yeah. But then things are starting to die down, which should be the perfect opportunity for him to let it go. But now this is him sort of acknowledging to himself that he wants people to remember him. So he's going to start things up again and keep things going, because no one should disappear.
If you can somehow keep them thinking of me and make me more than an abandoned memory, well, that means we matter too. It means someone will see that you are there.
And he's projecting that onto Connor, saying that to him, which is so interesting that he can't even take that for himself, that he wants to be remembered. It's, oh no, Connor needs to be remembered, so we should do this for him. So this is the big turning point for me of, we stopped being understandable, bumbling along, and now we're into, oh, you're making some real bad choices.
He's crossing the threshold of like, this is a choice now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is sort of the crux of the critique, the social critique that I think Pasek and Paul are trying to make, which is how I mean, this still exists today, but certainly how in this time period of like the early to mid 2010s, when someone would pass away, how people would find a way to make it about themselves, which probably has always existed throughout time, but like with the access of social media, how people can, get their own attention and their own, whatever, making it about them, this death about themselves, which
Yeah.
I know at least part of Dear Evan Hansen was based on a true experience that I can't remember which of the two of them experienced
Yeah.
this, like in high school. I don't know if it was a suicide or if it was just like a natural causes death, but someone in their school died, and it was the observation of how everyone around them experienced that and tried to, not everyone, but a lot of people tried to make it about themselves. And that was sort of the idea where Dear Evan Hansen came from. So this is sort of, in my mind, they're holding the mirror up to society kind of number.
Yeah. I think, and that's definitely what this is doing. It doesn't feel as clear that's exactly what they're doing. I can see people misinterpreting what they're going for, which it's a hard line to walk, because on the one hand, a lot of problems with modern musical theater is things are spelled out so clearly to make sure you can never misunderstand them. But then it's like, where is that line of, well, you also don't want to be so ambiguous that people can easily take the wrong message from what you're saying.
Right.
So I think this is just slightly toward that. It's not fully that, but it's easy enough to misunderstand this or want to misunderstand it, that that they're condemning people who are doing that versus just kind of, oh yeah, this happens, this is the thing.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with you.
If you never get around to doing some remarkable thing, that doesn't mean
that you're not worth remembering.
Think of the people who need to know.
They need to know.
So you need to show them
that no one deserves to be forgotten. No one deserves to be forgotten.
And the biggest person in the show who does this is Alana, who's literally going from, we were chemistry partners one time, to, oh yeah, he was my best acquaintance. And doing all of this to make it about her and start the organization for herself. And yeah, we don't get as much of that from her on this album, but we get it more from Evan's perspective. I think as the song goes along, I mean, Ben and Mike sound wonderful together. And the way that they're weaving in and out of singing separately and then together and, overlapping is really building quite the emotional whirlwind that you get sucked up in, whether you want to or not.
Yeah.
Because musically, it's just so thrilling, which is, again, smart. We're getting pulled along whether we want to get sucked in or not, because that's what we need to be feeling to take the story as it's being intended.
What was that line in Oh Hello that you were saying earlier? Like
Oh, I don't know if are you familiar with the play Oh Hello?
Not
From
much.
around the same time, actually. It was
John Mulaney and Nick Kroll doing a 2-person show where they were reprising characters from an anthology TV show where they are like 2 cranky old men. And
it's sort of a play within a play. And before they get to the play part, they're sort of like standing in front of, if you haven't seen Oh Hello, there's a pro shot on Netflix that I highly recommend.
Oh, excellent.
It's one of my all-time favorites. But John Mulaney's character, George St. Geegland, said they're just sort of like,
they're riffing
back and forth, and he
one
goes,
of them brings up Philip Seymour Hoffman,
and they're like, oh, Phil Hoffman, the greatest, blah blah blah, and he does an aside to the audience, and he goes, ladies and gentlemen, it behooves you, when a celebrity dies, blame the year and make it about yourself. It means the world to these dead celebrities. It's funny for multiple reasons, but also that this was happening on Broadway around the same time as Dear Evan Hansen, which also tells you what a cultural sort of like experience this was. Like, it's not just Pasek and Paul sort of commenting on it. It's also in this comedy play at the same time. Yeah, it's in the zeitgeist.
I mean, this definitely was blown up by social media, making it so much easier for people to do this, and then also being incentivized to get followers, likes, whatever. There's that
It was
kind
also
of
the era of Ellen, where like if something went like got a little bit of attention, you would get on national TV, and you're like that sort of thing just doesn't exist in the same way anymore. The algorithms are different, the platforms are different, but in this moment, yeah, I wouldn't doubt that if in this world like Ellen existed, like Evan Hansen would have been on Ellen.
Oh,
and talking
absolutely.
about like 1,000,000%.
like I saw your video and it was just so amazing.
Yeah, so moved. Yeah, this is so important. This cause is so important. That
Yeah,
sort of
everything's so important.
thing.
No one should figure out or have any doubt that it matters that they are here. No one deserves to disappear.
So out of this, Evan decides to start this organization, the Connor Project, which, so we get into the next track of You Will Be Found, and we're starting to morph into Evan getting even more attention, which will then spiral even more than he intends. But this is part of the issue that I had with like the glorifying suicide of it's all about remembering Connor and keeping his memory alive. It's like, well, shouldn't the goal be to make sure no one felt like Connor did? And they do kind of come around to that later. But at the beginning, it's definitely he is making it all about Connor because he's doing it for Connor's family. And it's like, ooh, that's not ideal.
No, the wires definitely get crossed of like what the actual end goal is.
Yeah. And while we're going through all of this, it definitely feels like this. So this is a later version of Part of Me, which was in this place originally.
Part of me needs a way to say goodbye. A part of me now remembers how to cry. A part of me wants to share the hurt and heartache so the world can see that you'll always be a part of me.
And I really like Part of Me because it's kind of more on the dark side of things and driving, versus this kind of feels like it was meant to be a standalone feel-good number outside of the context
And
of the show.
like choirs across the nation will perform this in all of their spring concerts, like that kind of.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and they did.
They did.
And they do.
then they do.
Mhm.
So like this is
I do.
Okay.
So let the sun come streaming in, 'cause you'll reach up and you'll rise again. Lift your head and look around. You will be found. You will be found.
like this just gets a little too cheesy at times for me, and obviously it's not aging as well either. But it's just we're going all in on this with all the catchphrases and aphorisms that you expect.
I was looking at the lyrics earlier. We were talking about this, that like some of the lyrics, I'm like, what is
Like
that
what?
even supposed to mean? Hold on, I'm gonna pull it up. So I was like, it's like I get what they're going for. Where is it? Thank you. I get what they're going for, but also what on earth? Hold on, it's towards the end.
Out of the shadows, the morning is breaking and all is new. All is new. It's filling up the empty, and suddenly I see that all is new. All is new.
What is new?
New
What
is
do you
always better.
Else is new.
I don't know.
You know what I mean? I'm like,
Well-
I get like out of the shadows. It's like, okay, you'll be found, but all is new.
Okay, so this is really interesting. Near the end, when all the social media testimonial stuff is happening,
Yeah.
the vocals in the background are really giving me Spring Awakening.
Yeah.
And that's very much Song of Purple Summer. Like these happy sounding lyrics, it means nothing.
Yeah,
Like, we're
I
getting
guess
kind of both sides of
Spring
that.
Awakening gets more of a pass for me because so much of Spring Awakening is so poetic and abstract, and like that's sort of like the vibe of the entire piece.
Yeah.
This is all very straightforward until this number, in my opinion, where I'm like, okay, but what are we talking about now? And maybe that's kind of also what they're going for, that it's like
People are
This
saying
is all
nothing while they
sort-
say something.
bullshit. Like
Yeah.
we're just saying words, and perhaps I'm being too harsh, but I don't know. It was like as we were listening to it, I was like, what are we talking about now? Like I feel like we're so far away from, and maybe that was the intention. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'd have to talk to Pasek and Paul.
You can ask them next time
Here
you see
they
them.
are.
We're zooming them in.
There's a place where we don't have to feel unknown.
God, everybody needs to see this.
Every time that you call out, you're a little less alone.
Stop watching this video. 17 years old.
If you only say the word.
Take 5 minutes. This will make your day.
From across the silence, your voice is heard.
And this, the song, to your point earlier, of the social media parts of it have not aged as well because social media has changed so much. But this is where
Tough.
that's really becoming a big factor in the plot line of the show, which, like you said, was pretty current and modern at the time.
Super, yeah.
But anything that's current and modern means it will age less well. But I guess that is what it is.
I mean, there are ways. If I were adapting it, it's a pretty easy fix in the sense of you just plug and play. You know how current social media works. You would need like a good, like show doctor, I guess, to sort of help with that. But yeah, it is unfortunate that any sort of like current musical, unless you're making it a period piece, because of how fast everything is changing now, it is impossible to make something that really stands the test of time without plugging and playing.
Yeah. Which is why most shows do not try to be super current.
Or again, like they're like, this show was set in this year, and like this is
This is the
that's
year
it.
it takes
That's
place.
the year it takes place.
Not present time, but this year.
Yeah, which I think is also very cool. I'm trying to like
John Proctor.
I was literally just gonna say John
Proctor
Proctor is the villain, where it's like this very specifically took
This is
place
2017.
in
and they're talking about
2018.
the Taylor Swift album that just came out, and they're talking about
That's my actual sorry, tangent. That's actually my critique of John Proctor's The Villain, is they talk about Speak Now, which came out in 2010, and they're existing in 2017, and they never bring up Reputation, which is impossible. These girls would have brought up Taylor Swift's Reputation album because it was such a big deal, and it's happening in that time period. I think it's very strange that it doesn't get brought up even once.
Oop,
Sorry,
That's
But
a
it's
big
my-
oversight.
that's my one, and we don't have to talk about it anymore. Anyway,
I mean,
that's my Taylor
just
Swift
right.
dramaturgy. What are you gonna do?
yeah.
and here's Kimberly Bellflower now, and
I'm sure she has. I would love to talk to her about it. I'm sure she has a very specific reason. But as I was watching it, I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Anyway, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. So this is just feel good, happy, and this is how we end Act 1. Although it's interesting, at least in the bootleg version, they kind of pulled a No One Is Alone, where the last line on the album is Evan singing again, You Will Be Found, versus in the show, that does not happen, which is like interesting. Again, they had that eye on the album of, we want this to be a standalone song that has a good ending, not it cuts off because he kisses Zoe.
I forgot about that, and you're right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I guess you really couldn't portray that on the album, so it makes more sense to just have it finish.
Yeah, I think that's the wiser choice for sure.
Yeah.
You will be found.
And then now we have intermission, and we come back, and it's interesting to me. Act 2 actually opens with a reprise of Sincerely Me that's not on the album.
Okay, that makes more sense too, because I was like, how on earth are they starting Act 2 with How to Break in a Glove?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Like it's a sizable enough reprise that I'm very surprised they didn't include it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Like I don't think it would take away from the narrative that we're creating on the album alone. It wouldn't take the vibes away. I don't know. It is weird though to open with a reprise, a semi-short reprise of one of the songs from Act 1. Like this is not a strong Act 2 opening by any means.
It's no Boop.
It's
well,
we could see Boop.
We could see Boop. One of the strongest Act 2 openers I've ever seen. And then what are you gonna do? You know?
Oh boy.
What are you gonna do?
Well,
and Evan Hansen, no puppet of a dog.
Yeah, well,
Which is unforgivable, really.
disgusting
Yeah.
lack of puppets in Dear Evan Hansen. I've always said that.
It's really the number one critique.
Mhm.
It needs like a Death Becomes Her scene where Evan's whole room becomes puppets and they try to
They try to talk him out of it.
Yes, that's what we need.
Hey, would watch.
Okay, you're playing the revival.
Okay, thank you. Put me in, coach. Let's break in a glove.
All right, let's break in that glove. So this is the main song for Michael Park to sing, and I don't know why, but this is such a skip for me. Like, so much of this song is objectively doing what it needs to do, and it sounds good, but as soon as I hear those opening guitar notes, I'm like, next.
Mhm.
And it's just, if I actually keep listening to it, I'm like, okay, this is good. But I just, at the beginning, I don't want to hear it.
I think they could have found a stronger narrative device than breaking in a glove.
Yeah.
I find the subject matter kind of not boring in the sense that I don't care about baseball. Like, I like baseball. And I get that, like, they're trying to say, like, this is what Connor's dad was into, and he was disappointed Connor wasn't. But I'm like, there's a more interesting vehicle, I think, and maybe one that makes more maybe one that makes more sense with the context of the rest of the show. This kind of not to, be too punny about it, but it feels like it's coming out of left field. It's it's sort of like, where is this exactly coming? I understand what they're trying to accomplish, but it's just I can't get over the glove of it all. And I think that's part of maybe why it's like such a skip, where it's like, I don't care. I know what's about to happen. I don't need to listen to this song.
It's all the process that is really quite precise, a sort of secret method known to very few. So, if you're in the market for professional advice, well, today could be a lucky day for you.
It reminds me of that UCB sketch by Sarah Smallwood Parsons. This is the song that no one likes. Or this is the song at every show that no one likes because it's boring.
It's the old
And
man
like
song.
The old man song.
I mean, he's the closest thing that you have in this show to an old man. So
Yeah.
perhaps that's it.
That's it.
I don't know.
Also, I think part of it too for me is Michael Park is doing a very good job of giving this character, but I really hate the character.
Yeah, not
Like,
a lot of redeemable
He's
quality.
just so like, when he's talking about how they can boast about the time they save until they buy another glove next week, and he's like, oh, wow, like, he's so condescending that anything that's not his way is obviously stupid. I'm like, just, I don't like you.
You know what I do like about this song? The first line where Benj goes, "Wow, a glove, cool." What is it exactly? So we were listening to
Oh,
it.
cool. Well, we played that line so many
Cool glove,
times.
wow.
This glove's really cool. Wow.
It's like you can tell he's also not into it, but he's just excited to get
He's
male
trying.
attention.
Yeah,
I'll pretend to like baseball for this for sure.
absolutely. Whatever it takes.
Maybe it's like I want more baseball imagery, like the way that like the tree imagery and like all the other imagery is like woven into all of these other songs. There's no baseball anywhere, and then you get this song. Maybe that's what makes me angry.
Yeah.
You couldn't have given me
Comes out-
one.
Yeah, it comes out of nowhere and never comes up again.
Yeah. Other than, is it that he talks about how he never took the tag off the glove in this song? Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I
it's
think it's in this
all
song.
it's all in condensed in this moment. There's nothing
Yeah.
else. Maybe throughout. I haven't read the script in a long time. Maybe throughout the rest of the script, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember any others.
It just takes a little
It
patience.
takes a little patience.
It takes a little time.
Takes a little time.
Little perseverance.
And a little uphill climb. And it's the hard way, but it's the right way. The right way.
It does, though, give us, like you said, he doesn't care about baseball. He just wants to be included. So we're getting more of Evan. His motivation for continuing these lies is he's getting a father figure that he has not had since he was 7, and likely did not have a great father figure before his dad left. So he is getting all the things he ever wanted, and that continues into the next track, Only Us, where he and Zoe have their perfectly pleasant but generic love duet that I also will often skip.
I don't need more reminders of all that's been broken. I don't need you to fix what I'd rather forget. Clear the slate and start over. Try to quiet the noises in your head. We can't compete with all that.
I like Only Us.
It's pretty, but it's just there's not much that's specific to this story.
Yeah, I agree with you there. But well written, pretty,
Yeah.
nice.
Makes
They
it sound
sound
nice.
amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
that kind of throughout the album, that kind of goes without saying, but
Yeah.
their voices blended together is so gorgeous.
Yeah. I really don't have much to say about this song because it's just the lyrics are a love song.
Yeah,
They're singing it
it
nicely.
was less icky than If I Could Tell Her. We could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Even though emotionally in that moment you're like, oh, God, no. But like,
But
it
I mean,
doesn't
at that point,
feel-
we're past the point. It's like
Right.
we've crossed the threshold. We're in it. We're either with him or we're not. So it's like,
Yeah.
I guess sit back and enjoy
True.
the lie.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you want me to do in this moment?
And
I
it-
can't stop him.
And if you do think about it, this is getting really complicated because we're getting genuine emotions built on a foundation of lies.
Oh,
So you're
100%.
like, oh, she's going to get even more hurt when this all falls apart because now she's not only being lied to, but she's accepting that lie and forming something of herself off of it.
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
dread.
In as much as she ever does anything herself.
Yeah.
We can try that, you and me. That's all that we need it to be. And the rest of the world falls away. And the rest of the world falls away.
And I mean, in the back of his mind, he also knows that she doesn't like him for him in this moment because he's not being genuine with her either. So it's double sad. It's really unfortunate. But you know, it's the play. What are you gonna do?
It is. But the next song then is Good For You. And this is Rachel Bay Jones showing why she gets the Tony.
Yeah.
She,
Get 'em.
oh my God, she is so talented, obviously. But in her verse at the beginning, we are getting so many emotions at the same time. We're getting the anger that she feels at being betrayed, the sadness of having failed her kid, the
Mhm.
pain of him exposing her to, to Connor's family as whatever he told them, embarrassment that she's not rich and he clearly wants a family with money. Like all these things are coming through in her voice alone, which is just so good.
Yeah. The fear from does anybody have a map that she's not enough comes to a head where
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I'm not. And you would actually trade me out for somebody else in a heartbeat because I'm not enough for you and
Yeah.
enjoy it. Because again, it's like, what else is she supposed to do? What can she say? I mean, obviously she's speaking to a child, but the betrayal's crazy. The betrayal is so hurtful, and it's the way of like, yeah, she is the parent in the situation, but she's so hurt that she has to express it to him.
Because she has been so part of the book scenes of the show. She is working all the time to try to make ends meet and to try to give Evan any hope of being able to pay for college.
A better life.
But yeah, she is working all of this for him. But the flip side of that is that means that she's at work and not at home with him.
Emotionally unavailable.
So
Yep.
it's like you can't have both in this situation. She's doing the best she can. She's even going to school to get a better paying job so that she doesn't have to work all the time to be able to make money. And I can only imagine doing that for 10 years and then finding out that, oh, I thought my son at least had some idea of all that I was doing to try to help him. And turns out he doesn't care about any of that. Oh boy, like that's a breaking point for sure.
So you found a place where the grass is greener, and you jump the fence to the other side. Is it good? Are they giving you a world I could never provide?
And forgive me if I'm misremembering, but it's that don't Connor's parents offer to pay for school for him? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then it's like all of this work that she's been sacrificing for truly feels like it's for nothing, and that these rich people can just sort of swoop in, give her son everything that she was never able to, and she made the sacrifice of not being able to be there physically with him because she was working.
Yeah.
So it's a double whammy of like
How hard she worked for this, and then how easy it was for them to
for
be
them
like,
to just
"Here."
give it to him,
Mm-hmm.
and that he'll happily take it.
Yeah, and I think the triple whammy is this is the same scene before the song where she finds out that he's been spending all this time with Connor's family because he's been telling her that he's going over to Jared's.
That's right. Yeah,
And-
that's right.
And they invite her over for dinner without his knowledge. And she's like learning in just a few minutes what has been going on that she didn't know about. And then the kind of, the straw that breaks the camel's back is they're going to give Connor's college fund to Evan.
Yes, that's what it was.
And
Yep.
she's just had this, she thought she got hit by a truck and then she gets hit by an even bigger truck.
Oh, not a truck.
No more trucks.
No more drugs. We'll get there.
We'll get
Don't worry,
there.
trucks aren't real.
Oh no.
It's just,
Yeah, no, it's so sad.
and
So
it's
sad.
just such a cathartic song. Like if you're in a mood that you just need to be angry,
Mhm.
to sing along with her is fantastic.
Yeah, it's righteous too.
Yeah.
It's total righteous anger.
Yep.
What a great role.
Yeah.
So you got what you always wanted. So you got your dream come true. Good for you. Good for you. You got a taste of a life so perfect. So you did what you had to do. Good for you. Good for you.
And we get some irregular meter in here, which I love. We haven't had a lot of it in the second half of the season here, but I am always a sucker for irregular meters. And we get to hear more from Crystal and Lloyd as Alana, who had some bits in You Will Be Found, but is largely not as present on the album as she is in the show.
Oh yeah.
But she is being angry at Evan because he is kind of backing out of helping with the Connor project. And then we also have Jared being angry because Connor is being a dick to him. And surprising, the popularity is going to his head, and he's kind of treating the people who actually gave him anything like shit. And so we get all three of them basically having the same, well, fuck you too.
And you say what you need to say, and you play who you need to play. And if somebody's in your way, crush them and leave them behind. Well, I guess if I'm not of use, go ahead and cut me loose. Go ahead now, I won't mind.
And it makes sense that both of the classmates are giving a lot less emotion. Like it's a lot simpler because they haven't known him as long. And they're children. They don't have the lived experience to have all of these things having built up for a decade.
Yeah.
So it really matches the character to how deep their anger well goes. I really appreciate that when Evan comes in with a different melody, overlying them repeating the melody from before, I think the mixing is very, very good because you can hear both clearly, but it does give a slight edge to the new melody that Evan is singing so that we hear that much clearer than if they were just completely equal. I appreciate good mixing.
Yeah.
All I need is some time to think. What the boat is about to sink. Can erase what I wrote in ink. Tell me how can I change the story? All the words that I can't take back. Like a train coming off the track. As the rails and the bolts are cracked. I gotta find a way to stop it, just let me
And this is him panicking now. He's like, oh no, this is all falling apart.
Oh, it's apart. Yep.
And he can see the boat is about to sink. And when he gets to his high note and then they go back to singing the chorus, it's just, you feel, oh no, we're careening towards something big next.
Yeah. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah. And that indeed happens. So everything blows up and we get words fail. And Evan is owning up to what he did. So clearly things happened between the last song and this one. And I don't think it actually detracts a whole lot from the album to not get the details of that, because we know the lies that he's been telling. And so all we need to know is that things have come out.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they didn't try to add like extra dialogue to give us more.
I don't think it needs
We
it
don't need it
either.
at all.
Right.
Like the album kind of does have the right amount of dialogue for what the show is and what the album is, and it finds a good balance.
And then once again, Ben Platt getting to act the hell out of it throughout this whole song. Like I'm sure other Evan Hansens have done a good job, but just what he puts the emotion of the desperation, the sadness, and the regret that is starting to creep in. It's not like true regret right now. It's more cover your ass kind of regret. But we're starting to get all of those things as he's saying what he did.
I never had the dad who stuck it out. No corny jokes or baseball gloves. No mom who just was there, 'cause mom was all that she had to be.
How do you feel about his explanation throughout this song?
Well, to touch on what you were saying of like the emotion, did you see him do this at all? Were you able to see him in person?
No.
Okay. I've
the room.
actually, in the room, I've never seen another actor be able to do this so successfully, where he is, by the end of this number, tears streaming down his face, snot coming out of his nose, like there's just wet everywhere, right? Not in a
Jonathan
Jonathan
Groff
Groff
wishes.
way, but and the fact that he is still able to produce this sound through all the like gunk and moisture, because I mean, how he sounds on this album is how he sounded in the room, like
Cool.
clear, crystal clear, and you can see. I mean, I didn't have terribly close seats, but like you can see that he is just sobbing and still able to produce this. I've never seen anybody else be able to do it so effectively. And not that every role calls for it, obviously, but just that he was able to produce this sound through all of that, it's a level of technique that I don't really understand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I just don't know how he was able to do that and do it 8 times a week.
Ooh. Yeah,
I just don't know.
'cause-
And to get yourself to that, like, you know, there's the emotional part of like getting yourself to that, but then it's also like, so a lot of actors, we were talking about this earlier, that like to get yourself to cry on stage, you can change your like breathing pattern, or like, you know, like you can sort of like there are physical things that you can do to sort of like help you produce.
to make it physically consistent.
Yes,
yeah.
but you can't do that while you're also singing.
Right.
Or you can, but it has to be mapped out so precisely.
Does
Right,
anybody
yeah.
have a map?
Does anybody? Ben, where's the map? Like, and again, I haven't seen, it's the only time that I saw it on stage was when I saw him do it. So I can't speak for any of the other Evan Hansens. And perhaps it's something where I need to like go and see some of the bootlegs. But I was so impressed by it outside of the song itself, which now I can answer your actual question. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, that's great.
Can you repeat the question again? I'm so sorry.
So throughout this song, he is giving his point of view of why this happened, and he's explaining himself, and he admits it's not a worthy explanation because there is none.
Right.
But I think how you view this song is a big part of how you view the show, of
Yeah.
how much do you buy his explanation?
I mean, I think he's sorry he got caught. That's the first layer of it.
Yep.
I personally feel like it's difficult to articulate because of how high the emotional stakes are, but there's certainly an element of him that is relieved that he no longer has to lie.
Yeah.
And I think that speaks to the fact that, like, while he did benefit from the lie and it did give him all these fantasies that he wanted, I don't know that he obviously never went in with the intention of like, I'm going to do this to get everything I want. It all just kind of happened. And he was very passive in experiencing all of that. And again, he's 17, right? It's like, I think he legitimately feels bad about everything. It doesn't take away from the damage done, but I do really buy that he feels terrible about everything outside of being caught as well. And maybe that speaks more to the performance, and it would obviously be up to the performer and their interpretation as well. But I feel like in this instance, in Ben Platt's performance of it, I buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Words fail. There's nothing I can say except sometimes you see everything you wanted, and sometimes you see everything you wish you had, and it's right there, right there, right there in front of you.
Yeah, because in the show that we don't get on the album, it all started because of a misunderstanding, and
Yes.
he tried to correct the misunderstanding and was steamrolled into saying no, and then he just went along with it. And the
It-
first, it's like for everything that happens in the show, there's like two dials, one of good intent and one of selfish intent.
Mhm.
And at the beginning, it's very high on the good intent, very low on the selfish intent. And then as we're going along, the selfish is getting turned up a little bit each time, and the good intent is getting turned down a little bit each time. But they're always both present. And I think he was able to just focus on the good intent for a lot of it, and probably really believe that he was doing it for other people, not for himself.
Yeah, I mean, certainly in the beginning, he saw how much he was helping Connor's mom specifically, and how much comfort and joy he was bringing her. I mean, and to go back to Requiem, it's like she has the letters,
Yeah.
but the letters are all a fabrication of Evan's. Throughout the whole piece, I feel like she always kind of has the letters
Yeah.
with her, and references them, and it's her way of feeling close to her son. So I I understand how we got here. I mean, there were certainly choices made to amplify it that shouldn't have been done, but again, it makes it a far more interesting piece.
Mm-hmm. And I think it seems so obvious, but it's important to remember throughout all this, again, he is 17. He
He's a
is
kid.
not, like, all of this happens because he does not have the foresight to see where this will eventually lead. Like, even a small little lie, like an adult viewing the same situation would probably realize, oh, well, if I start this, it's going to go way down this track that I don't want to go down, so I'm not going to start it. And he has no concept of that. And like, that's why
Yeah, and
the letters,
also, I mean, he doesn't have social skills.
yeah,
So it's like not only is he 17, he doesn't know how to be a person barely
Yeah.
outside of everything else.
yeah. And like the letters start contradicting each other, which Alana points out because he didn't have the foresight to create a story, and I'm going to stick to the story. And
Right.
and the reason it all falls apart is because he did not plan it well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
This,
Not started with malicious intent, but yikes.
yeah.
No, I'd rather pretend I'm something better than these broken parts. Pretend I'm something other than this mess that I am. Cause then I don't have to look at it, and no one gets to look at it. No, no one can really see.
And I think overall, again with my rewatching yesterday, I think this overall does a good job of showing how well-meaning people can do very bad things.
Mhm.
And it's kind of this, in other versions of this type of thing, see how the villain got to be where they are in a way that doesn't excuse them, but makes you realize how it could happen.
Yeah. I think that's the problem with why the piece is looked at in such a different light now, is because Evan is the villain of the story, but he's posed in the broader sense as the hero. And I think that's part of why people started to sort of like pick it apart, of like, no, he's a bad person and we can't like him and we can't like this show because it's glorifying a bad person as the hero. And it's like, no, I mean, he doesn't end up something for me that I think a lot of people struggle with complicated like anti-hero kind of characters, is it's not necessarily about the journey so much as it is the destination of like, does he get what he wants? Like, not really. It's kind of I mean, he doesn't get the girl. He doesn't get, like all the things that like would absolve him of the lie and make the lie like worth it. He doesn't get any of those at the end of the show. He's not like thrown in jail. Like it's there's no like extreme punishment, but he doesn't succeed in the sense that like he gets everything that he wants. And that's sort of I find that people
He
kind
still
of
ends alone.
Yeah.
And what he wanted was to not be alone.
Yeah, in a way, for sure. So I think people kind of struggle with that, where they're like, I can't root for this guy because he's a bad person, and so I don't like this show and like what the show is trying to say. And it's sort of like, well, you're not thinking of it as a whole piece. You're thinking of a very specific sort of like snippet from it.
Yeah. And it's almost like he's not bad enough to be a true anti-hero
Yeah, I guess anti-hero wasn't
Mhm.
the right, but
because
I think you get what
yeah.
I was trying to
Oh
say.
yeah, yeah. But like Gentleman's Guide, Monty is killing people. That's
Yeah,
worse.
no.
Sweeney Todd is killing people.
Yeah.
And we're much more okay with it because it's
I think because they're upfront about what it is they're doing.
and it's also more exaggerated than I've
Yes.
seen this person in real life.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I know this guy and he gets away with it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I think it's an opportunity for people to be like, you're not getting away with it this time.
Yeah.
Evan Hansen,
Mm.
who's a guy I know in real life. It's so nuanced. But yeah, I think with a Sweeney Todd or a Monty, it's
There's
like,
distance in the scenario.
but they're very upfront. Like I've been wronged, and here's how I'm gonna write it, and I don't care.
Yeah.
And Hansen is a little more like, I didn't mean for it to get so out of hand, you guys. And like people are like, fuck you, Evan Hansen. Sorry for swearing incomplete, but that's kind of, I think, the problem. With modern audiences, at least in like 2026. Again, I'm coming back 10 years from now and listening to this and seeing if it still kind of tracks. But like,
Yeah.
I think that's really where audiences sit with it right now, is like it's promising one thing and delivering another, and there's like a cognitive dissonance in between there that people don't vibe with in this moment.
Could that also be partly like in how the show was sold?
Yes.
Because like coming
Yeah.
off of,
I think 100%.
it was mostly developed in the Obama era, like so much cultural optimism, and then it's hitting like a slightly different internet than what it was written with. And
Well, I think
No.
it goes back to the album outselling the show itself, and people picking the songs and being like, wow, this makes me feel seen, this makes me feel good. What is a marketing team supposed to do? Turn to them and be like, no, you're wrong? No, like let's
they lean into
let's Ben and Lin-Manuel Miranda do a duet of their songs together, and that'll feel good too. And like,
Mhm.
look it over here and this, and then you sit with the piece and you're like, oh, like what I interpreted and what the piece is saying are two different things, and I kind of feel lied to. Dear Evan Hansen style.
It's
Like,
the most Dear Evan Hansen
it's
result
so
that
interesting.
could
It's
be.
just so meta.
It's so much more of an interesting piece than people give it credit for. Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry. We can come back.
I mean, this is all great, but I like how as the song goes along, we start bringing in musical themes from earlier in the show.
Mhm.
And I think especially the way they bring in the little bit of waving through a window is very smart.
Mhm.
And it's just, and how everything starts to get quieter and simpler as we get closer to the end. And then we just end with a simple piano for like the what if everyone saw, would they hate it too? It's like, like you realize how much he hates himself and is doing all this to try to either have people like him despite that, or to maybe, again, the two different dials. Regardless of his intent, he is doing some good things like raising money to reopen this apple orchard, things like that. So he's kind of trying to buy his way into heaven, so to speak, of at least I did a good thing, even if I'm a terrible person.
But even the apple orchard is selfish.
Yeah, and it was also based on nothing because Connor
A lot,
didn't actually
yes,
care about it.
It's selfish, and he loves trees. So now
Yes.
he's trying to save this apple orchard that
Yeah.
means something to him. It's like, oh my guy, what are we doing? This is so bad.
Yeah.
But you saying, will they hate it too? I mean, superimpose the audio of Ben Platt's, the way he says hate it. Oh my God, you can feel in just the audio, you can feel how much he's struggling with his feelings about himself in that moment, and how disgusted he is with himself. It's such an incredible vocal performance. Unbelievable.
'Cause what if everyone saw? What if everyone knew? Would they like what they saw? Or would they hate it too?
Like you get that he had such a low opinion of himself before all of this, and now through this song
boom.
he has crashed through that basement into sub-basement 3 of
Yeah.
how terrible he feels.
How can I live with myself?
Yeah.
And he had tried to kill himself before any of this even happened.
Yeah.
Which is also such a dangerous kind of reality to live with of like, oh my God, what is going to happen to this kid now that all of this is falling apart and he has no support system?
Yeah. And I don't remember if it's before the song or after the song that we find out, like, did you fall from the tree or did you let go?
Right.
And like that, yeah. Because
That goes back to For Forever as well, where it's not revealed that him falling out of the tree was a suicide attempt. And it makes it so much sadder of like his ultimate fantasy was somebody coming in that moment to save him, and it didn't happen. And he made up that Connor was the person that was the one that found him. Devastating.
Yeah. In the show, through all of this, the note that Evan wrote to himself that Connor took that started this whole thing is released. And once it's known by Heidi that this is Evan's handiwork, because she recognizes that the structure of the letter is like his therapy assignments. So the next track is So Big, So Small. I do really appreciate that she, having just been so angry, rightfully so, is brought back to, I had no idea. I knew it was bad. I had no idea it was this bad. And she goes back to that place of love. And the song starts with her singing about when Evan's dad left them. And it's not immediately clear why we're going into this, but it's being delivered so tenderly that you're like, oh, this is gonna wreck me, isn't it? Oh, this is gonna destroy me. And then it does.
It was a February day when your dad came by before going away. A U-Haul truck in the driveway. The day it was suddenly real.
It's one of the most beautifully simple, I don't even know how to articulate this, but like it's such a big concept that I can't think of too many other examples like has been musicalized of like that kind of abandonment and that kind of sadness. And from her perspective of throughout the whole piece, you know how hard she is working to be what Evan needs her to be. But for her to go back to the moment where she had to be like, okay, I have to be both now. Because he's gone and this is it. And Evan even turns to her and is like, are you next? And then she has to assure him that no, she's not going anywhere, which makes his abandonment of her even more messed up.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's operating on like 12 different cylinders and it's so simple.
Yeah.
It's like in my like musical theater Hall of Fame, it's in there for sure. I think it's one of the best crafted songs ever.
Yeah.
And the house felt so big, and I felt so small. The house felt so big, and I felt so small.
Because that moment of, is there another truck coming to our driveway that'll take mommy away, is such a gut punch. And now you realize why the song started. And even more so, you're like, oh no, I see where we're going. Oh no. And it's so powerful. And I really like that each time we get the quote unquote chorus of the house felt so big, the so big, so small of it, it hits so differently because of the new information we've gotten that the same words are having a different and bigger emotional impact, which is, again, very clever and just emotionally resonant songwriting.
Yeah. And talk about her feeling small. It's like what she just experienced with the Murphy family as well. It's just like it goes back to the same theme of her not being enough.
Yeah. The hurt that she gives when she's singing about how she knew that she would make mistakes and miss things.
And I knew there would be moments that I'd miss, and I knew there would be space I couldn't fill, and I knew I'd come up short a million different ways, and I did.
Culminating with and I did, and I do, and I will.
Crushing.
It's just because, you know, she's doing everything she can. She knew from the beginning that having to do both would mean sacrifices. And to start with that mindset of, I'm going to do the best I can and it's still not going to be everything it should be, is such a hard place to keep operating out of for the last 10 years. And
I know.
And then, you know, your mom isn't going anywhere. She's staying right here. It's exactly what Evan needs to hear in this moment, that he may have destroyed every connection that he had built over this show, but he still has his mom.
Yeah.
He definitely
Before
needs
this
that.
song, he didn't think that he still did, because
Yeah.
she told him in so many words.
Your mom isn't going anywhere. Your mom is staying right here. Your mom isn't going anywhere. Your mom is staying right here, no matter what. I'll be here.
And so I think, especially knowing how much he's struggled with his own mental health before and during the show, it is so valuable to him to have that connection, and hopefully it can take on a new meaning of, oh, I really do have her no matter what. Like obviously he took her for granted earlier, and maybe this is now a way to have them have a new chapter of their relationship where he recognizes everything that she's done for him and that she's trying to do, and they can be more of a united team instead of adversarial.
Yeah, I think also it's like him making a mistake of this magnitude also forces him to become an adult a little bit quicker than he would have otherwise. So I think it's also a bridge for like a more adult relationship between the two of them, where you know, it is his mom. And not saying that like the playing field is ever, you know, equal, because it is a mother-son dynamic, but sort of to your point where it's like he can recognize more of the sacrifices she's making, not as like mommy's abandoning me to go to work, but it's like my mom is working so hard so I can have a better life. Just like a more adult perspective.
Yeah. And I think, you know, so the next track is then the finale, and there are parts of this that are in the show that aren't on the album, but the way that he carries himself is so much calmer. And it's kind of like the social anxiety is always about, well, what if the worst happens? And well, now the worst has happened, so nothing else can be that bad. And that kind of is freeing. Like, it's easier to talk to people now. He's going to school. He's doing things because, oh, well, I already fucked up really bad. I can't do that bad again.
Yeah.
So it's nice. He's reading his last, you know, another letter to himself, and it's not the most positive, but it's a lot more positive than he's been every other time we've heard this kind of thing in the show.
Dear Evan Hansen, today is going to be a good day. And here's why, because today at least you're you, and that's enough.
Can you remind me of how much time has passed? I can't
I
remember.
think it's
off
a
the top.
year.
A year?
Because when they meet
3
up,
days.
Like,
because he's talking to Zoe about, she's about to graduate high school, and he's
That's great.
finishing up his first year of community college, or like working and then doing some classes. But it's, I think also people might assume that you know, oh, well, Zoe forgives him after all this and they get together. It's like, no, they meet up to say, you know, to have some closure, but they still go their separate ways.
For sure.
Because you could never rebuild that. Like,
No.
it was based on nothing, or worse than nothing. It was lies. So
Yeah. It was based on him actively manipulating her.
yeah. How do you feel about this as a
I-
finale?
Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I forgot that they were a grade apart, which was, you know, when you're in high school, that does feel huge.
Significant.
And like looking at it as an adult, you're like, yeah, they're a year apart in age. I know lots of people who are like, the gap gets smaller
Yeah.
with time, but
There's
in
a
high school,
power
there is a power
dynamic.
dynamic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is my older brother's friend. Okay, there's
Yeah.
Yuck.
yeah.
Yuck indeed. So throughout the album, we've had a lot of emotions, a lot of things happening. And then this is our finale that doesn't really close anything. How do you feel about this as the last bit we get for the show, for the CD?
It's not my favorite finale.
Yeah, it's like it's a quiet, okay, that happened.
Yeah. it feels a little like, let's just tie a bow on it and do the bows, and we're in an apple orchard. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I remember even like in seeing it that it didn't necessarily feel super satisfying in the room, but I could be alone in that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I can't compare it to the
stage.
to the stage and like being in the room of audience experiencing it together.
And I'm not sure how else you would end it, really. Like,
Yeah.
because you don't want a big happy ending.
No,
That doesn't
he
make
doesn't
sense.
deserve that.
You don't want a tragic ending.
A bit of tap earlier in the show. They can't
Right.
establish it that
Can't
way.
bring it up.
Yeah, so I don't know what else you would do, but I guess you kind of take a title of show approach and just walk away, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
All we see is light. Watch the sun burn bright. We could be alright for forever this way.
But anyway, that's the album. Like I said, there are bonus tracks that we're not going to go through here just because there's not a whole lot to say about them except that there's a pop version of Waving Through a Window by Katy Perry, and listening to it after listening to the album, you're like, oh, pop singers really sing differently.
I've learned to slam on the brake before I even turn the key, before I make the mistake, before I lead with the worst of me.
And also, I mean, Katy Perry cover is also so indicative of the time.
Yeah.
Very true.
It's crazy.
So this show ran for 1,672 performances at the Music Box Theater. It is tied for 52nd longest running show. And interestingly, it's only 3 performances longer than Come From Away.
Wow. That
And
is
So
interesting.
they were both victims of the pandemic, where they tried to come back after COVID and didn't have the audience that they needed just because theater was struggling to get people back in the door.
Yeah.
So who knows?
I think also that during the pandemic is when people really turned on the show.
Yeah,
The time away from it and then revisiting with a new cultural context.
Yeah. I mean, everybody being like truly just existing online for such a long time.
yeah.
Then revisiting Dear Evan Hansen, it truly felt like a period piece. It was like, this could not exist in a post-COVID world.
Yeah. I do wonder, though, if COVID hadn't happened, would this still be running? Because it's a relatively small cast.
Yeah.
And it's got a lot of bangers in it, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was still running if it wasn't for that.
Yeah, and it was also such a great vehicle to find new young talent as
Yeah.
well. I mean, if you look at like the Evan Hansens that have come out of,
Yeah. And then what they've done since then, so many of them have become leading men of their own.
I mean, 2 are nominated for Tonys just this year.
Yeah. Which is insane. Because Sam Teddy was in London. Was he the
And-
original
and-
in London?
Say it again?
Was he the original Evan Hansen in London?
I'm not sure. I think he might have been. There's a lot of footage of him in
Yeah.
the role, which makes me think that he probably was the OG.
Okay.
And then Ben Levi Ross.
Yeah, it was a Broadway replacement, right?
Yep, and he is nominated for Ragtime this
Yeah.
season.
So Evan Hansen's been good to people.
Oh, for sure. Andrew Barth Feldman. I mean, not that Jordan Fisher wasn't already established, but like Jordan Fisher was in there. It was just like
Taylor
such a
Trench.
Taylor Trench,
Yep.
of course. Yeah, it was just such a great vehicle for like men of around that age to really sing,
Oh, yeah.
really sing. And certainly, I mean, like as we established, like Waving Through a Window is going to be in people's books and sung at Marie's Crisis and at the Jimmy Awards, and you
People
know,
will
Till the
always
end of time.
vault it in the car.
I'm
Yep.
sure it's on a bunch of like do not sing lists at this point, but it just speaks to how
But so was Corner of the Sky, and people still sing Corner of the Sky, and it's like when it hits and when you see someone perform it great,
I
you're
mean,
like, yeah, that's great.
they're not spiritually
can-
dissimilar.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also with
Different-
a bonus track on the CD that includes pop versions where you're like, what?
Huh?
Why is Michael Jackson singing Morning Glow?
Did he really?
He did on the bonus track for the Decca Broadway re-release.
Sick.
I think it was a Supremes cover of something as well. It's like the bonus
Wow.
tracks on the Pippin CD are surprising. You're like, what?
I
But because
and
Pippin was on Motown Records,
Yeah.
so that record label, uh, synchronicity. What's the word I'm looking for?
Synergy.
Synergy. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's such a lost art of pop song or pop artists singing theater songs.
Mhm.
He had
Yeah.
the Spice Girls doing "My Strongest Suit."
Yeah, for the
Yes.
concept album of
Rock.
Aida.
I love that version.
Yeah, it's just fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
It helps meld the world.
Yeah, let's bring it back.
Yeah, Pink's hosting this year.
Yeah, we'll
so-
see how that goes. Maybe
You're
she'll
first.
start covering some things and get it back into pop culture.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure people are trying. I'm sure the teams are trying.
Yeah.
We'll see.
The show had 9 Tony nominations with 6 wins, including the big ones: musical score, orchestrations, book, leading actor, and featured actress.
Mm.
The album was produced for Atlantic Records by Alex Lacamoire, Stacey Mindich, Pasek and Paul, with audio engineer Derek Lee. And this is the 2018 Grammy winner for Best Musical Theater Album. Who is your standout performance from this album?
I mean, it's got to be Ben
Yeah.
Platt.
He played Dear. He gave everything.
No,
Yeah,
an iconic RuPaul moment. Yeah, I mean, to say anybody other than Ben Platt, I think is a crime. It was a career-defining role.
It introduced him to so many people.
Yeah.
It solidified everyone that saw him on stage so they could say, this is what he can do.
And
Mhm.
yeah, like him or otherwise, it's like he truly is the voice of like a musical theater generation. So I don't know how it could be anybody else on this album.
Yeah. Andrea McArdle on Annie launched 1,000 kids singing in their basement. This launched 1,000 kids singing, waving through a window because
yeah.
they saw it on, Seth Meyers and
yeah, for sure.
everywhere. The song was everywhere.
Yeah, I think it's undeniable for me as well. Although Rachel Bay Jones, so good as well.
Yeah.
But what is your go-to track that you're most likely to listen to?
I mean,
To break in a glove.
I mean, yeah, it's
No,
like if we're taking waving through the window out of the equation, I don't know.
I like Sincerely Me. If I hear that on shuffle, I'm like, yeah,
I'll listen to
Yeah,
that.
I can walk to the train with this.
I like If I Could Tell Her, even with the context. It's a fun. Sorry, yes, go ahead.
There's,
You tell the story.
During the shutdown, we started a project where we were recording a new song every day from like one of those playbill prompts. It was like, put this song in your story, and we made it as we are going to perform a new song every day and post it day of.
This is also when Instagram would only let you post
Up to a minute. It was
minute of
pre-reels.
video. It's crazy
Um,
how different everything is
yeah.
now. But
and
Will did
one of the
yes,
prompts
please.
was it led me to like let's do a song from Dear Evan Hansen, but we're gonna do a pop punk version. And I took If I Could Tell Her, rearranged it like it was mid 2000s. I don't know what are some of the bands
Boys Like Girls,
uh,
Blink 182.
Yellow
Oh, yeah.
Card or
Yeah.
those kind of bands.
I could tell
Yeah.
her
Tell it everything
I see.
And like I threw the arrangement together so fast.
Yeah, it was cool.
And it was I now prefer that version. And so when I think of, which is shitty, but
No,
like,
no, it's
but
it lends
it was a
itself,
fun
it
it was a-
lends itself to the genre blending
Yeah.
because of the structure of the song.
it was a fun game that made me think about the song in a different way. If I could tell her everything I see. If I could tell her how she's everything to me. But we're a million worlds apart, and I don't know how I would even start. If I could tell her. And kind of like thinking of pop performances of musical songs, it was like, this is so fun. Let's play more. And we don't have to have the, here's the cast album version. This is the only way that this is performed. Let's be really loose and do something goofy with it.
I love it. I think mine is Good For You. Just
Yeah.
I listen to Waving Through a Window so much that now I'm like, need a little bit of a cooling off
Break.
period.
Yeah.
So good for you. I can still listen to pretty much anytime. Just Rachel Bay Jones, so good.
So Big, So Small if you want to cry.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
You got to be in a mood.
Yeah. Let's do some scoring, shall we?
Yay!
All right. So categories are slightly different from when you were here before, but you
Okay.
know the drill. So for composition, music out of 15 points.
I want to say like the lowest I could possibly go is like 12 or 13.
Mm-hmm.
Because
12.
the God, it's like the good is so good. I mean, and the mid is it's like fine, you
Yeah.
know? So it's not a like a perfect
It's not overwhelmingly mid in those moments.
no,
It's like,
but the songs that stand out are truly excellent. So I think 12 is
Yeah.
safe.
I put 12 as well.
Come on.
Yeah.
We
I-
did this last time.
We did.
Like, that's so funny. I'm
The,
speaking way too soon, but we
Yeah.
have a lot of other categories.
but we're starting off strong together. Yeah, like the highs are great. And it's not the most inventive score, but doesn't need to be, and that would be weird for the subject matter.
I think it
'cause
was
it's-
for the time.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. For the
So-
time it was pretty revolutionary. I think that's why it sold so well.
Mhm.
But yes, now looking back at it, it's kind of like, yeah, it's what a pop score sounds like.
Yeah.
it was an exciting pop score then, and if it were to debut now as it sounded then, it would be like, this kind of sounds like a commercial for a medication. But like, I don't mean that as a read. I mean it as like how influential that kind of sound was then, and now other things are like, we can make money because people like how this is.
Yes. That's a nicer way to put it.
The Pasek and Paulification.
Ooh, yes. For lyrics out of 15 points.
Because this kind of gets into like, do we agree with the it's that same debate of like, do we agree with this, or is it a good representation of the
ones
lyrics,
that are it's
or-
again
yeah.
the ones that are good are so good, and the ones that are bad are just mid. So it's like I'm in like the same sort of camp. Maybe I'd do 13 instead of 12.
Sure. Well, are we counting the cool, what a cool glove in the
15.
15.
No, I think maybe 13.
All right. Well, we're staying together still so far. I also said 13.
Yeah.
So good.
And there's not a single lyric in this show that makes me roll my eyes or cringe, which
Yeah.
I'm a picky bitch, so that's saying something.
Yeah.
For performance categories, virtuosity, as it is, out of 15.
I mean,
Based on Ben Platt,
I feel like
I want to say
14 is the
14.
lowest I
was
would
gonna say
go.
14.
Yeah, I was going back and forth between like 13 or 14, but I think I have to land on 14 as well. Because everyone is doing a really good job vocally.
yeah.
We'll get to the next one, I guess. Personality out of 15.
What do you mean by personality?
So this is the acting, the characterization that you're bringing to the role beyond just the notes and the words.
Yeah. I think that's at least 14.
Okay. I went
Yeah.
with 13. So
Mhm.
here we're different. We're a point off now.
No, that's okay. I think
We'll call it.
we're in a
We'll call it.
range.
We end the
Yeah.
session.
Because I
Bye.
mean, Ben Platt and Rachel Bay Jones are 15s for sure.
Yeah.
I think some of Michael Park's stuff is less dynamic, which is also the character. But
Mhm.
yeah, I think the other characters don't have as much to do, which is not their fault, but it's just not giving as much as those two.
Yeah.
Now, under our theatricality categories, storytelling out of 15 points. And this is not specifically, are you getting every detail of this show? But is this album,
Cohesive.
is it making you feel like it's a story that you can sort of follow, make up your own details that fill in the gaps, that kind of thing?
That I'm not sure. I think because is it its own story, like the album is its unit, separate from as a representation of souvenir of the memory of having seen the show. So it is two separate things.
Yeah. This is like, if you only heard the album, had nothing else to go on, would you feel like you were following along with the story, even if you don't get all the information of it, versus a jukebox musical where these are
It
just a
could be
collection of
anything.
songs that
Yeah.
could be anything?
Well, I think it's pretty strong. I would
Yeah.
maybe like 12 or 13.
12.
All right. I had 13, so now we're back to the same overall score.
Or
Okay.
close.
I mean, most of the songs are very much giving a story, and there's just
Yeah.
a couple of things that are like Only Us is pretty generic, but for the most part, you can follow along, like I said before, kind of making a better story as far as likability of characters
Yeah.
by what's on the album alone.
Mhm.
And then
I can agree with that.
emotiveness out of 10 points. And this is both how well the show is portraying genuine emotion as well as making you feel something.
And you said out of 10?
Yeah.
I mean, I think in the moment, like when it first came out, I would give it a 10 out of 10.
You feel like it's changed since just
I've
because.
also gotten older. Do you know what I mean?
That's-
Like, I don't
What?
know. I don't know.
That's not how
I don't
time
know.
works. We're all the same age as we were in 2017.
Yeah. I mean, I was in my 20s, so like, I don't know. It's a different thing.
It's
But
different.
I think I would still give it a 10. I think there's a lot of emotion going on here. And I think I'll say 10.
Mhm.
Maybe I'm being too generous, but that's where I'm at.
Okay. I'm going to go with 9.
Sure.
I think for me, especially with this season, a 10 is individual songs out of context can make me cry.
Yeah.
So it's very strong, but I'm not even listening to words fail. Like that's probably the closest of it gives you enough emotion all on its own.
Mhm.
But like Come From Away, several of those songs, I just listen to
Sure.
them like, ugh. Okay. So,
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, inventiveness out of 5 points.
And it's time. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know. There was nothing else like it.
I also kind of think of this as how risky is it? How risky was it to put this show up, to put this album together? Because it was
Sure.
breaking new ground that people weren't going to go along with, kind of thing.
Sure. Maybe in that context, it's closer to like a 3. You said out of
feel like-
5.
Yeah.
Get 3 or
feel
a
like 3.
4. 3, sure.
Okay. I put 2. I
Sure.
think a lot of it is relying on a very classic structure, archetypes that we are familiar with, but it is telling a teenager story with a lot more nuance and not being patronizing compared to a lot of stories about teenagers, which are often cringy from, I was like, oh, this is what the adults think the kids are like.
Mm.
So, so I think 2 for me. For clarity and usability on the album, so this is audio quality, mixing, track assignments, those kinds of things, out of 5 points.
5.
Is it 5? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no real issues. There's the one, like the Y, which I think is probably more of a performance adjustment, or maybe even a writing adjustment than a mixing thing. So, and then lastly, curb appeal out of 5 points. So this is the album cover selling and representing the show.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
I think I'm trying to think of a
I-
reason.
I have a very goofy detail about the Dear Evan Hansen key art is that a lot of people think that the font is Helvetica. If you know fonts, it looks like Helvetica. It is actually not. It's called Accidens Grotesque.
Mm.
It's same, spiritually the same, but like tiny differences. It's like, do you want the R to have like do you want the capital R to have that little, like a little S to the slope of the R, or do you want it to be a straight line?
Yeah.
And Dear Evan Hansen, it is a straight line that is Accidens Grotesque. And what
The
does Evan
name.
have if not a grotesque accident?
God, it's such
Perfect.
a crazy.
I'm sure that's
detail.
why they chose it.
So small.
Yeah.
But it probably just looked better with the straight lines of his shirt.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Yeah,
probably just lines.
And I guess
like-
if I'm creating that artwork and I'm going between those two fonts, I like because I'm assuming whoever put that together didn't think that someone like you was gonna
No,
figure that
sometimes
out.
it's an inside joke
Yeah,
for
it
the
feels like an
designer.
inside joke for the designer.
On the book cover for Rodgers and Hammerstein's Allegro, the font they chose is called Allegro. So
I love it. And it's a fun font too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I don't know. It's such an iconic image. Was it out of 5?
Mm-hmm.
I'll give it a 5.
Yes.
Okay.
I know exactly what I don't know.
if you saw it really tiny in a mosaic, you'd be like, is that Evan Hansen? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna put 4.5.
Sure.
I think it is. I don't love that that it's so pale, like so cool in the colors. Like that's not pulling me in more, but it is giving the character, and it's all about him.
Mhm.
And I think it's enticing enough with the different shades of blue. So it's not my favorite.
Yes, like yeah.
Yeah,
it
it's
all
not my
kind of-
favorite, but I think it's doing a good job. So 4.5.
for the album cover, did they change what his cast says, or does it say
It's blank for the album cover.
blank for the album? Okay.
Can't
But I
gi-
know in
can't
the
give that
marketing
away.
they would swap
Yeah.
it for different stuff depending on what they were trying to accomplish.
Oh, smart. Got a little billboard there.
As
Mhm.
seen on Ellen. You're like, what? No.
Ellen signed the cast this time.
She wrote Connor.
He's got
That brings my score to 85.5 and yours to 88. So a total
Sure.
of 86 3/4.
Yeah.
So a
I
very
think that's fair.
strong album.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's undeniable that the show is hugely impactful. And I think this album being so well put together and performed definitely helped in this age of promoting the show. It's doing what it needs to do. This has been as fun as I knew it would be.
Oh, you're so sweet to us. Thank you.
I mean,
We have a blast every
Yeah.
time we talk to you.
I
You
saw.
will be blood.
You.
Oh.
Oh.
All right, I take it back just for that comment.
Oh, okay.
We're kicked out.
So
Scrap the whole episode, actually.
burn it.
Uh,
If people want to follow you, learn more about what you're doing, what's the best way for them to do that?
We're on all the platforms, TikTok and Instagram at _theater with an ER _lovers. We're on YouTube now. We're on
Threads.
Threads and
Oh yeah, here's something fun. We haven't. Oh, this is
Oh, yeah,
coming
this
out
will air
afterwards, so
after,
it's
so
it's
it'll-
we were just asked by Meta to like be one of the creators, like live, not
To live
tweeting,
thread,
but live threading the Tony
Tony
Awards.
Awards.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. I don't know how it's gonna work. It's like a new feature where I don't know if it's like a chat room or something, but it's sort of like a place where everybody can sort of like interact
I
in
think
real
it's gonna
time.
be like a chat room hangout space.
Yeah.
Very cool. I'll have to
But-
check that out.
Yeah.
Feel less live later after the event, so I don't know how
Probably,
that'll
That's
yeah.
true, but
be.
we are on Threads.
But if you want their hot takes, you can go
We're-
back and find those.
Yeah. And we're building up our YouTube
Yeah.
and all that fun stuff. So.
We have our merch store. We sell goofy things at thetheaterlovers.com. And
Wonderful. You can follow the podcast on Instagram at Little Things You Hear Together. You can email me at littlethingsYouHearTogether@gmail.com. Please follow, rate, and review the podcast. That'd be wonderful. And check back next week as we wrap up this incredibly large 2016-17 season. And it'll be, I'm going to try to keep it from going 5 hours, but with this many shows, who knows how it'll be.
It's tough.
But Rachel, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having
Thank
us,
you.
Alex. It's always such a pleasure.